us to obey His commands. Let me tell you what the 10 Commandments are a. Let me explain it like this: the 10 Commandments represent the whole of the law, because there's 10, and God enumerated 10 specifically because 10's the number for dominion. And in Romans 7, do we not know that the law hath dominion over man as long as he lives? Okay, so the whole law has dominion over us. And basically what Romans 7 says is that it just points out the fact that we're sinners. The law is there to tell us, you're a filthy, rotten dirtbag, Deborah. You're no good. There is no good thing in you. You're evil. You're pure evil. Okay? That's what the law is for. The law says, do this. Oh, you can't do it? Well, you're going to die and go to hell. That's what the law is for. And it's enumerated in 10 commandments showing us dominion. But then Jesus even narrowed it down to just 2. Love the Lord thy God with all thy heart, and love thy neighbor as thyself. Now we got 2 commandments. Okay? Keep them. Keep them. Start loving your neighbor. Start loving that guy, and I'm not just talking to you, Deb, I'm talking to everybody. Start loving that guy next door whose dog keeps digging holes in your backyard. Start loving that guy. But the thing is, if we say we have no sin, that we lie and the truth is not in us. But if we sin, we have an advocate with the Father, Jesus Christ the righteous. It all is going to go back to Jesus. And so I believe that you ought not commit adultery. I believe that you ought not steal. I believe that you ought not covet. I believe you ought to do the things that God said to do. The problem is, not if, but when you fail, we have an advocate with the Father, Jesus Christ the righteous. Gary says, Pastor Mike, what do you think of James White? I don't know, never met him. I don't know who that is. Let's see here. Lori is my Jewish friend. Mechayim. Lori. You know what I do when I start thinking in my Jewish mind? She said, when I hear about those who make some feel less adequate about serving God if they don't do this or say that, I think the gospel is for all men. Would a man in Africa or China who just heard and accepted the gospel have problems or confusion with what the Jewish roots teachers do and say? The answer is yes, they would. God would not want that. The word Torah is the Hebrew word meaning law. This is why the Jews and the movements use the word Torah in place of law. Kind of silly, though, if they speak English. The English translators would not use the Hebrew word in an English translation. I do use Torah myself, but again, that's because it is how I was raised and more common to me. You see, and Lori, you make an outstanding point. You're a Jew. You're a Jew, okay? Anyway, I was raised and it's more common to me than the Old Testament, but I never take issue with the phrase Old Testament. I see why so many get drawn in and start to question what's right. Thank you for covering this topic. You're quite well, Lori. I appreciate that. Lori, if you being a Jew and being a believer, and I like your attitude and I like your ideas. If you think that if you think I'm ever stepping out of line on this, you write me or call me, because I'd like to hear from you. I'm not beyond reproach and I'm not beyond correction on this, but I'm telling you, there are some really, really good people who want to know the Lord, who want to live, who want to serve God, and as soon as it's just almost like as soon as they come and get saved, boy, here comes the wolves. Here they come, dragging them back down into the law. Well, it's 2:30. I know I probably wasted about 10 minutes of this program here with technical difficulties. But I appreciate you putting up with us. This is going to happen from time to time. And I wish I actually have more to deal with, not particularly on this subject. But I have more to deal with. It's some questions, and in fact, I'm gonna do this. Okay, before I sign off, I want everybody to get out a piece of paper. Okay, get out a piece of paper. Ready? I'm gonna have you write something down. Okay, I'm gonna give you a homework assignment, and I don't want you to be mad at me simply because I'm asking a question, and that's what I'm doing. I'm asking a question, and I'm not trying to set anybody up. I promise you, I'm not. I have an inquisitive mind, and that inquisitive mind demands to know the truth. That inquisitive mind is not satisfied until I know the truth. It's kind of like when you get when you get hungry for something, you don't quite know what it is, and you go through the refrigerator, and then to the pantry, and then you go to McDonald's, and you go to Burger King, and you go to Wendy's, and you go to Dairy Queen, and you go Pizza Hut, you go to every place else in the world, until finally you go, that was it. That's exactly it. I have an inquisitive mind, and it's not going to rest until I absolutely know the truth. And I have not found the answer on this issue. And this has caused some people to write me, very angry, because I won't say what they want me to say concerning this issue. I won't say it. And then they accuse me of this, and they accuse me of that, and on and on and on. And my issue is, I still have questions. I was brought up to believe the pre-tribulational, premillennial viewpoint. Okay? I have high respect for the men who came before me who searched the Scriptures. I have high respect for that. And until I really began to search, I just accepted the quote-unquote doctrinal statement, pre-trib, premillennial, pre-trib. And what that means is the rapture before the 7 years of tribulation. Now, I'm sure everybody has heard that. The rapture before the 7 years of tribulation. Here's what I'm asking you, and I want you to write this down. Can you prove to me simply, and if you write an encyclopedia worth of stuff, you know I'm not going to read it, okay? See, I think things ought to be real simple. Can you prove to me, and I'm not setting you up, I'm asking a question, I want to know, can you prove to me that a period called the tribulation lasts 7 years? Can you prove that? And some of you are going to see he's setting you up, he's mid-trib, he's post-trib. I'm not any of those, because I haven't seen yet where the phrase tribulation equals 7 years. I haven't even seen where the phrase tribulation equals 3.5 years. I haven't seen it. If you can show me from the Scriptures how long a period called tribulation is, that's what I want to know. So there's your homework. Okay? Here's your homework. I expect it done between now and the time the Lord comes. See? I made it easy for you, didn't I? I love you. Okay, you got to love me back. I believe the Bible, and I want you to believe the Bible, and I want you to rest in it. I really do. I want you to rest. I want you to go to bed tonight. I want you to read some chapters out of the King James Bible and lay your head down and say, you know what? That's the Word of God. And I'm done looking. Okay? God bless you.